Okay, third time. See, my videographer here, producer, has a new phone. See, and he's not used to it yet. And so we're on trial number 3.
That's okay, because you love me.
That's okay because I love her. Anyhow, as you all know, Chad Klosterman here, TBI-Guy Speaks, on YouTube, on .webs.com, on Facebook. And as you know, the book is out, and the cheapest way to get it is through me. So hopefully that'll go well for a while until they're all gone, which
we've got plenty for a while.
We still got a few left. But anyways, on that note, this week what we are going to talk about is compassion.
Yes.
Compassion is sympathy and concern for the suffering or misfortune of others. Now that's a pretty strong issue, or should I say virtue, because remember, we're going through the virtues that I have taken from West Point's mantra of benches that they have throughout the quarters of it or whatnot. And that's a pretty strong one, because a lot of times we get angry because of how we are. And when we see somebody doing worse than us, instead of, trying to help them along, and I'm not saying I did this because I did not do this, but there are some that will laugh or make fun of somebody else that's doing worse. See, I didn't, because the part of my head that was fractured and busted up, that part was not hurt, thankfully. Because that is definitely not the kind of person that I am, ever has been, or would want to be. Because when you have somebody else going through these issues, the better thing to do is to help them and to have compassion. I mean, shoot, that's why I'm doing this. Because I want to help other people. I want to let them know that, hey, you know what? There's other things that you need to pay attention to that way outweigh, you like that? Mm-hmm. What it is that you're going through. It's all just a matter of figuring out what that is and going ahead and doing what you need to do to make that happen.
And perspective.
The perspective. There we go.
And trust in God.
Trust in God, definitely. God's always got your back if you let him in to show you and help you learn from what had happened. But I see people all the time, and I see people that don't have issues to the extremes that we have that can be downright nasty to people like us.
When you say people like us, explain. People who are disabled.
People with extreme disabilities. Because I hate that word, because everybody is disabled.
I know.
In one way, shape, or form.
Yep.
But having extreme disabilities like a paralyzed arm, a blind eye doesn't really matter because nobody can tell I have a blind eye anyways. A head injury, or just, paralysis of any sort, or gosh darn it, can't think of it. When you're in a wheelchair, paralyzed legs, or, from being paralyzed from chest down or waist down.
Quadriplegic, paraplegic.
Quadriplegics and paraplegics. Those are the two I was looking for. But, you can't be that way. There's no need for it. If you feel like that's it, you have to make fun of somebody like that to make yourself feel better. You have a lot more issues you got to take care of. Because, we're all God's children, every one of us. And it's up to us to make sure we are the best us we can be. And that's not in a way of, down talking others, because we're a whole lot more beneficial to other people when we can help other people. And that's part of what we're supposed to do, because we're all God's children, every one of us. Me, you, her, my son upstairs, the guy that's living out on the street corner in a cardboard box. And that's not saying anything to be funny, because there are people that live like that. We should help them when we can.
We need to be compassionate, no matter what the situation is, because we don't know what their situation is like.
We have no idea what their situation is.
And that could be us.
And a lot of us, not necessarily a lot of us, but some of us, we have pretty good support groups. People that are compassionate with us. I mean,
family and friends.
Family and friends there's a lot of compassion poured out for me because of what I went through when I went through it. And I'm thankful that I had that there, because when you're in those situations, you tend to be hard on yourself. You tend to be mad at God. You tend to be mad at people that maybe you were in a car accident with 3 other people. So 4 of you were in a car accident, and say you were not the one driving, you were in the back seat, but you got hurt the worst. So you're angry at the driver. Why isn't he hurt worse? It was his fault that we had the accident, or her fault that we had the accident. You know, we are so quick to place blame on everybody else, when yet they might have been the cause of the accident. Just playing the devil's advocate here, you know, maybe they were screwing around. But the fact of the matter is that you were in there with them, and if you had a problem with it, you could have stopped them. But I'm sure you could have been just as excited about screwing around too. And with that, you can't blame anybody but yourself, in a way, for being a part of the situation. You can always get yourself out of the situations. But once again, that kind of goes off of where I was going with, you know, having compassion towards others. That, you know, because I can guarantee you that, say we're just going off a hypothetical here, and I know accidents that have happened like that, where the driver who caused the accident wasn't hurt nearly as bad as some of the others. Oftentimes, it takes a pretty sadistic person to not feel guilt and remorse for something like that. And I know once in a blue moon there are people like that, but for the most part, that's something they carry along with them for the rest of their lives. So don't think it's all rainbows and roses for them having survived something like that, even though they may have been the ones that were the drivers and caused it, because it's not that way. It all goes back into the compassion thing that we just have to have for everybody, because it doesn't do us any good to hate. I mean, what's God say? He says, love your neighbor like you love yourself, or love others like you love yourself. You know, it's hard to do. Oh, good golly, it's hard to do.
And sometimes I think the problem is people don't love themselves.
This is true. Don't interrupt me.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Whatever.
That's her job, because she does it all the time. Oh my gosh. But hey, you know, that's all right. Oh, let it go. Let it go. So
have compassion.
Just have a little bit of compassion. Think about it. I have compassion for you, honey. You know that. But just think about all the things that, you know, let us get out of our correct mindset. The things that bug us to where it destroys our compassion for other people. You know, there's all kinds of things that you, like me, I have such an issue with politicians. I honestly can say I don't have compassion for them.
But you need to.
But I need to. But it's hard to.
I know.
When they're living in their gajillion-dollar houses, but yet they say that we need to spend money on global warming and climate change, which is nothing, but throw money away for building a border wall that will help protect us and our southern neighbors. It just drives me crazy. So anyways, you know,
political side note.
Squirrel! Sorry. Come to the head.
This is why these videos are 10 minutes long instead of 5.
But you never know what I'm going to say next. And that's the awesome part about me, because sometimes I say something funny. I know, not always, but at any rate. So this week, think about compassion. Think about, you know, spreading compassion to, you know, people that you know, people that you don't know. A simple hi you can't imagine some of the things that one little kind gesture of compassion can bring to somebody.
A smile.
A smile. Matter of fact, we went to a church thing this past week, and the speaker there, Father Chris, was telling us about a man that committed suicide by jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. He was going to. No, I thought he did.
How would they know the story if he did?
Because they went into his house, his apartment.
Oh, yeah.
And found a note.
I apologize. You remember and I didn't.
Oh, woman. Oh, he's not right. He's got the head injury.
Oh, stop.
Give me that crap. Anyways, back to the story.
Okay.
A man had a very low self-esteem. He was living, just did not want to live. And so he wrote a note at his house, his apartment. He went off, he jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and committed suicide. And when they recovered his body and found out who he was, they went back to his apartment and they found a note on his table that said, "If one person smiles at me and says hi, I will not jump off the Golden Gate Bridge." So he walked all this distance from wherever he was to the bridge, never got a single smile, a single hello, nothing. And
so a smile could have saved his life.
Smile, a simple hello could have saved his life. That's compassion. It's the simple things about what we can do that will change somebody's life that we don't even know. Or you could be like me and talk about anybody you see just because. I get that. Not everybody's like that.
Yeah, you've never met a stranger.
I've never met a stranger. No. So, at any rate, like, subscribe, share. TBI-Guy Speaks at webs.com. TBI-Guy Speaks on YouTube, Facebook, and the book, come to me. If you check any of those 3 sites out, you'll find all kinds of ways to get a hold of me or whatever. So go with that, check it out, and we will see you guys next week with the next virtue that I will be talking about.